Now, do you know what both Sri Lanka and Pakistan have in common? Other than rulers who failed miserably, they have the China connection. Just think about it. You have Imran Khan in Pakistan and the Rajapaksas in Sri Lanka. They both borrowed heavily from China. They bet on Chinese investments. They praised Xi Jinping. Basically, they made a deal with the devil. And as usual, the devil doesn't care. China has abandoned both Imran Khan and the Rajapaksas. Protests, public outrage, constitutional crisis. China doesn't care. They have left both allies high and dry. We'll start with Sri Lanka. Xi Jinping sold the Chinese dream to Colombo. Massive ports, stunning highways, plus something to sweeten the deal for the Rajapaksas. And the result is this. Sri Lanka owes $3.5 billion to China. For Beijing, it is mission accomplished. They forced Sri Lanka to lease the Hambantota port. They trapped Colombo in their notorious debt trap, but they forgot to consider one thing: the public response. The Sri Lankan people want to topple Gotabaya Rajapaksa. Now more than ever, he needs China's help. But China is nowhere in the picture. Officially, they've not said a thing. Not even a single comment on the situation in Sri Lanka. What's more, they're refusing any sort of help. First, Sri Lanka asked China to restructure their debt. China refused. Then they asked China for a $2.5 billion financial package. This was 2 weeks back, and China is yet to respond. Their only official reaction has been this: an alert from the Chinese embassy in Colombo. They're asking Chinese citizens to take precautions, to be vigilant. And just think about the double standards here. The same China did not evacuate its people when Russia invaded Ukraine. They kept their embassy open when the Taliban took Kabul. But in Sri Lanka, they're suddenly proactive. What explains this difference? China knows it is complicit in Sri Lanka's collapse. They know the Lankan public is against them, so they have changed strategy. Their new plan has two parts. Number one, dump the Rajapaksas. And number two, distance themselves from the crisis. Take a look at an article by the Global Times. In fact, I have some quotes from there. I'll read out a few lines for you. This is what it says. Sri Lanka's economic crisis has been years in the making. The direct cause is the COVID-19 pandemic. Sri Lanka's domestic economy has not been transformed and upgraded since the recovery from the civil war. Unfortunately, the government has not seized the chance to restructure Sri Lanka's economy and put forward large-scale reforms. Let me translate that for you. What's happening in Sri Lanka is the government's fault. It is the pandemic's fault. China's debt trap has nothing to do with it. That is what Beijing wants us to believe. And it's not just Sri Lanka. China is doing the same thing to Imran Khan, their iron brother, their favorite vassal. Think of everything that Imran Khan did for them. Sold his country's land to Chinese investors, picked China over the United States, gave Xi Jinping a free pass on Xinjiang. He even invited Wang Yi, the Chinese foreign minister, to the recent OIC summit. And what does he get in return? Absolutely nothing. Officially, China is silent on Pakistan as well. Not even a single comment. But if you think about it, this was China's dream scenario. They keep accusing the US of foreign interference. Now you have a Pakistani prime minister saying the exact same thing. So logically, they should support Imran Khan. Even the Russian foreign ministry is backing him. So why is China silent? Because they are hedging their bets. Again, let's look at the Global Times. Here is what their article says, and I'm quoting. Experts cited several reasons that have led to the current political situation in Pakistan, including serious political infighting and poor economic development, and of course, as Khan mentioned, some external forces. External forces is almost an afterthought. This ambivalence is due to one reason. The Pakistani army. The Chinese may not believe in principles or morals, but they do understand politics. In Pakistan, the army calls the shots. It's amply clear. If you want to do business in Islamabad, you need the army. Prime ministers will come and go. The army stays. And right now, the army is not backing Imran Khan. In fact, they're not backing China either. Listen to what Pakistan Army Chief Qamar Javed Bajwa said last week.
We are not looking for camp politics. We had historically excellent regime in the United States. The good army that today we have is largely built and trained by the United States. The best equipment that we have is the American equipment. We still have deep cooperation with the United States and our Western friends.
I'll repeat what the general said. The best equipment we have is the US equipment. Now compare that to Chinese tech. The Pakistani army has consistently complained about them, the tanks, the artillery, all of it. So the Pakistan army is not ready to abandon the West, which means China had to make a call, stick their neck out and support Imran Khan or sit out the crisis. China, being China, chose the safer option. They need the army's help in Afghanistan, even in Balochistan, which is at the heart of CPEC. Imran Khan cannot guarantee any of that. The army can. And both these betrayals are a larger message to the world. China does not care about your people. They do not care about economic growth. They're only concerned with strategic games. And when things go south, the Chinese will be the first to leave. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.